into positions of hopelessness and helplessness. The government gives them the drugs, builds bigger prisons, passes a 3-strike law, and then wants us to sing God Bless America. No, no, no. Not God Bless America. God damn America. That's in the Bible for killing innocent people. God damn America for treating us citizens as less than human. God damn America as long as she tries to act like she is God and she is the
Hello and greetings of the damned. Welcome to Pod Damn America, the motherfucking goth socialist podcast for idiots. I'm Jake Flores. Got the whole crew in with me today. Anders Lee is here.
Anders Lee here.
Alex Patak.
I'm in the form of a bat, and then there's smoke, and then I'm a man.
Goth as fuck. I love it. And special guest, comedian James Adomian. Welcome to the show.
Oh, yeah. How? You know,
Yeah.
I just happened... I'm glad I popped in here because I just happened to be downstairs buying some glue.
Straight from the source.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get artisanal glue here in Brooklyn. It comes in a
They
mason
just
jar.
butchered the horses.
Yeah.
I come to New York for media stuff, but also for my side business. I have to... Actually, this is, oddly enough, a great market to purchase large bulk quantities of adhesives. So we call it in industrial uses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Artisanal adhesives.
Applicable adhesives. Yeah.
Locally sourced
That's
from...
what Brooklyn's good for. It's just a place that just sells glue on a large scale.
Yeah.
Well, the glue that brings together populations of oppressed people.
That is, I'm not joking, quite literally the argument they're using to try to evict us from this building.
Really? Oh, yeah.
The glue factory workers downstairs are the real Bushwick working class, and that we're these like bougie hipster gentrifiers up here, and that we're obviously not being pitted against each other at the fucking behest or because of our fucking shitty landlord. No, it's definitely the workers versus the tenants. That makes perfect
Just
sense,
in
right?
sheer output of glue, you guys are way behind.
If you do one of those strikes where you like chain yourselves together, just do glue instead.
Yeah,
Do the
well-
actual sticky.
That sounds like some fat railroad man with a cigar and a pocket watch is very happy he's pitted those two groups against each other.
Abso-fucking-lutely. We'll do. You know what we'll do is we'll make a big glue trap outside and put Scabby the rat on it.
Oh, yeah.
To make a statement.
On the glue
It's all mangled and shit. Horrifying
He's just looking
looking.
at the ground, looking upset. He's trapped at the glue.
That is like, I like that. It's almost a mixed message you would see in a cartoon or something.
Yeah.
Eesh.
So James, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yes.
I
loved the Venezuela video you guys did.
Thank you.
Or I should say the Vice video you
Yes.
made.
Yeah.
Branch. did
that our
was
friends
not me.
that look exactly like
Yeah.
us did. Branch Rockefeller and
All right, there's a kayfabe here. I gotta catch up.
what the fuck
They
is my
can't
name?
break character.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Tell your friends that was a great video.
Thank you. Shout out to Means TV. I think they did a great job on that, and everyone should check out all the stuff they're making. Are you in
Check out the
town?
nation of Venezuela. Just check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone has the same opinion there, is what I learned this week.
Yeah.
There's no ideological diversity.
That's the funny thing about the Venezuela thing is that, like, clearly there is, like, a big argument going on there, but, like, everyone tries to talk about the place as if it's a monolith of, like, no, actually everyone there agrees with me.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Of course there's people on both sides of this. It would be like if you left America and you were like, everyone there loves Trump or everyone there hates Trump.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a divided country, and a solid majority supports Maduro.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Or
also
at least does not want fucking U.S.-backed imperialist guy coming in. Like that's
the other thing is that one of the sides of this argument is right and the other one's wrong, you know? Like, so either way, and because, I mean, they're right in the sense that it's a democratic thing and there's more people on one side of the argument. I don't know.
It's fun pretending they're a monolith that you get secrets from, though. Like the whole country's population is your girlfriend who goes to a different school. That's
Yeah.
really fun.
I mean, to the point of like, oh, talk to a Venezuelan. It's like, I mean, we've obviously talked to many Venezuelans on this show, but like, we're Americans, and the thing is about American media. We're not, going in. It's not really that much about internal Venezuelan politics. Like, this is the way it's portrayed to us in our country. That's what we're spoofing.
Yeah. We're
I don't
clowning
think too
on
many
him.
people are mad at you.
To me, it's everyone.
Yeah.
To me, I walk down the street and I just assume everyone. Yeah, like they start talking to me. I assume, yes, you saw the Means TV video. I apologize.
A lot of comments about how much younger you are than you sound.
That's the main thing that people say when they see you. People have told me that they thought because of your voice that you were like a fucking 50-year-old man with a comb over.
Como, yeah,
It's just
yeah.
us and a 50-year-old man in a glue factory.
I
But
do
I-
have sweaty tie energy.
Anyways, yeah, because you stand like these like kind of third-party politicians and stuff. It does seem like your destiny to turn into like Ralph Nader or something.
That'd be awesome.
But I think you're the young version of that.
Yeah.
And
When you digivolve,
don't listen to
we'll
the
be into Ralph Nader.
don't listen to the propaganda. Anders Lee is in his prime. He's not an old man. I'll hear none of it. But anyway, yeah. What the fuck were we talking about? Venezuela
And Vice.
and Vice.
And their terrible coverage. Like,
Yeah.
hey, here's a hip window into what's cool about the CIA coup attempt.
yeah.
You were talking earlier about what it would be like if they were around during Iran-Contra.
Yeah, they were, hey guys, let's see what's happening with some of these rad Contras.
This is epic. United Fruit is overthrowing the government of Guatemala.
Whoa, talk about extreme.
I was thinking about on the last episode of Game of Thrones when they're like arguing over whether or not to burn the city down. Like Vice is just like, we're here in Westeros, hanging out, talking to everyone. That's like that should have been done, but too topical. We can't do it, a week later. But imagine it, guys.
Possible.
It's a sketch for your imagination.
The dragon flew away on that.
I'm thinking about it, and I'm laughing.
Something really funny that happened this week regarding media is that, and I'm not just doing this to try to fish an impression out of you. This actually does rule. Gorka is really mad about one of the characters on the children's show Arthur.
The children's television program Arthur.
Yeah.
Arthur of PBS. My children watched Arthur.
He's so
My
mad.
children, and now there is a homosexual wedding on PBS funded by your federal tax dollars. Disgusting.
He also
And he-
sounds so mad that it's a rat. Like the
Yeah.
premise infuriates him.
It's he's an aardvark, but Gorka was like, Arthur, of course, is. You quickly got to see exactly to what degree he paid attention to what cartoons his kids were watching, because he's like, he's some sort of rodent character who has adventures in his little cartoon land.
I took that as sort of throwing some shade at aardvarks, like they're indistinguishable from rats, like he's trying to diss the species.
He has all sorts of agendas that we don't understand. He is a Game of Thrones character in a lot of senses.
Yeah.
What you do is you dehumanize the enemy, or in this case, you de-rodentize it.
Yeah. But he's mad that a character on a children's TV show that I don't think anyone even knew was still on the air
I didn't know it was on the air.
is
no.
is being, they're doing J.K. Rowling shit to a character who cares,
Mr. Ratburn must be so old by this point. I'm glad he found love.
They're
I know, let the poor old man. What?
He's 70 years old.
Yes, he's 70 years old. What can he possibly do? He can't even go out to the clubs anymore. Let him settle down, you monsters.
Yeah. He's just an old Brooklyn queen,
Gorka represents an element of the right wing. I mean, he's wrong about everything, but some of these right wing people try to get more advanced on some issues here and there and be like, "Hey, look, I don't have a problem if you look. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. Gay. Look, I know a lot of gay Republicans. I work at Fox News with some gay, and they even have Shepard Smith there to be like the gay Republican on the network, I guess. So you hear, but Gorka's this old school like Pat Buchanan style guy.
Yeah.
None of this should have ever existed. We have to turn the pages back meticulously and rip them out from the book of history.
It's weird. He's so obsessed with this idea of like there's a culture war, and that we're the left is waging some sort of like brainwashy thing by changing all the characters in Harry Potter gay and stuff, and
It's
like
people against rodents.
and that Arthur before this was somehow on his side. That's a weird take,
A children's cartoon luring impressionable children into the lifestyle of open homosexuality into leftist revolution. And he tied it together. It was, I talk about this on my podcast. He tied it in with Saul Alinsky. There's this like right-wing conspiracy theory that Saul Alinsky is the linchpin of leftist thought. And so he's like, it goes from, he literally was like Robespierre to Trotsky to Saul Alinsky to Obama. You moron. That's like 5 different types of idiots.
I would love for Robespierre to have an opinion on Mr. Ratburn. Like he's writing out his manifesto for the revolution or whatever, and he's like, in aardvarks, they should turn your kids gay.
Yes, he would be like, I am firmly against the death penalty until he comes into power. And then he's like, half of the aardvarks must be executed. By the way, Robespierre is like up there as a fantasy character that I would love to play. That is the most ideal
Oh yeah.
casting. What a juicy part. Robespierre and Pontius Pilate. Those are the 2 best historical figures that anyone could ever play.
What do you think Robespierre sounded like?
Je voudrais crème solaire. Comme ça va? Ça va bien, merci.
We know he's French.
No,
Where do we take it from there?
That is the level of, I expect to be nominated for awards for that, for a performance like that.
And then Pontius Pilate, I feel like your main thing is just being like, the king of the Jews.
Oh, I think Pontius Pilate has to be like, that's where you put the best actor in the movie. You put the actor that's someone guilt all over their face, but humorous and like Roman, wealthy. Who is this Christ you speak of? I suppose bring him here. Let's hear what this Christ, the Messiah, has to say. Do you really believe that you're the Son of God? Rolling his eyes.
He's just eating snacks the
Yes,
whole time.
eating snacks. And maybe the way I'm saying it, it sounds like Gorka could be Pontius Pilate. I wash my hands of this whole affair.
Yeah, it's a footnote in the life of Gorka. All that stuff back then. So I've been thinking about this.
I crucified your Christ and I blamed the Jews.
Yeah. I've been thinking about this Gorka thing a lot because the right has this culture war theory that's really weird. But I think that everyone is putting way too much stock in culture on like all sides of every argument, and that's just the uniquely dumb modern American brain disease that we all have. Is that like because we're also powerless. We're like the TV shows are destroying society or empowering people or doing all this stuff that they're just kind of not doing.
We're pinning our hopes on television shows since real life is hopeless.
Yes. Case in point, Game of Thrones. Not everyone. A lot of people are really mad. I don't know if spoilers. If anyone I'm talking to or here in real life or at the through the podcast doesn't know this, but the Game of Thrones is almost over. Last week's episode, where there was a twist where Daenerys Targaryen went crazy and burned a bunch of people, and oh my god, she's evil now. And the internet is very funny right now because a lot of people are like tweeting, literally shaking right now. I put 10 years into this TV show only for it to, become a misogynist somehow because this woman is like not the hero of the show. And
I can assume across America, offices had at least one person just coming in with a deep frown and just closing their Garfield calendar for the week.
It's really funny because...
Why do you pin your hopes on these things? Why? Why would you have done that?
Also, like, is that just what is the TV show that these people want to see? Is it just a show where like everyone's empowered and there's no conflict, no one has any flaws?
Veep, but they don't know that it's like that she's an idiot or that she's an asshole.
It's Game of Thrones, but it's just like the episodes like Tyrion gets a beer fridge. They're like, oh, nice. That seems sick.
I don't see. The thing is, I don't think like no one would watch that. Like, there's no actual. These people wouldn't watch the TV show that they're arguing needs to be made, right? Like, you watch it because there's conflict and because, like, bad things happen to the characters in the show. The whole point of the fucking show is everyone gets killed and stuff, and everyone's arc is tragic. So, like, watching in real time people, like, lose their shit over this, it's not dissimilar from Gorka screaming about the cultural Marxism thing.
People screaming at fucking fiction.
Yeah.
What is your problem? who told you there would be good guys?
Yeah.
I don't see any real. I mean, there's very few good guys and very few bad guys, and they always have more. I mean, real life is more complex than that.
Yeah, it's like The Wire. They're all bad except for maybe Bubbles or something.
Some people expect like stories to be like, "Hey, I'm a hero. It's almost perfect." And I've got everything right politically, and guess what? I'm going to do everything I'm supposed to do for the modern audience at this time.
Yeah.
And so then I
That's
give
the
you
show.
some kind of like subconscious license to emulate me.
Yeah, it's
I
really
guess
weird.
my beef is really with storytelling down to its ancient origins. I guess I have some kind of hang up on the idea of good and evil.
Yeah, it's like
Aristotle was wrong.
they're mad at like 3-act structure. Like, no, 1 act. Everyone just does a thing, and that's the end of the story.
I'm tired of screenwriters in my life adding drama. That's not what you're here for. You're fake friends.
There's a.
I mean, I hope that what if these people had been around during Transformers the movie in 1986 when Optimus Prime died?
they'd be so mad.
Yes, it hurt all of our feelings, and then that was one of the things that let us go like, oh, stories can be complex as we grew up.
Optimus Prime was a stand-in for Dukakis.
Oh my God!
Duke Optimus.
They did him wrong.
Optimus Prime's big mistake was getting filmed riding around in that tank.
Riding around as that tank.
Optimus, you are a tank. Get out of the tank.
What was the tank character? I'm gonna rack my brain for this. Whatever.
There's
Anybody? What? No. What is the tank character?
His wife, which was I don't know.
I expect you to know. This.
Fulsome Romanus. I'm trying to think of a Transformer name that would work.
There's a
Tank
petition
Elon.
to there's a Last Jedi style petition now to like remake this last episode of Game of Thrones.
It will only be $1 billion.
I mean, I favor the people that are doing that kind of thing online, petitioning. Thousands of people signing on to this, I'm guessing. I would be okay with setting those people, like a dragon setting those people on fire. Like that, to me, is okay.
Yeah.
Like, you're no longer worth, you've somehow, maybe you don't, okay, all right, if it's a fictional dragon, it can set you on fire.
I heard the only half legitimate complaint I heard was from comedian David Twitey, who's been on our show last night, was telling me at a bar, he's like, they had too much footage of people burning. I didn't need to see that many people burning. And then I was watching the show, and I'm like, I love how many people are burning. This is why I watched the show.
The fiery deaths where they were like, like flailing and shit. That was so good.
I missed the episode, and I don't care about spoilers because long ago I gave up on watching shows the way you're supposed to. So I watch all TV shows like it's just Gilligan's Island. Like, I'll just check in and see like what's this episode about. And I expect all shows to reset to 0 like Gilligan's Island does. I'm very disappointed when that doesn't happen. But I like, for me, the episode I happened to see this season was the one right before that one, where it was a whole episode. This was a bigger problem to me, was a whole episode of literally people sitting around doing exposition. And
It's like fan fiction.
but it was a whole episode. Is this sound okay?
A whole episode of exposition.
That's what and I didn't sign any petitions. I was like, okay, I'm just writing this off. This is not a good show anymore.
Well,
They had to do that episode so they could do 90 minutes of pitch black fighting that you can't see at all, and they spent the entire budget.
I know. Make a movie, or you know what? Honestly, at this point, my favorite ending that would piss off. I would love if they just did like a Mary Tyler Moore, like a sign off, like where everybody comes out and it's like, that's cheers, where the cast comes out and they're like, that's our show. Thank you for being with us for
everyone
for
that got
15 years.
everyone that
Covered in blood.
that got killed comes back
Come
on.
back.
with the fucking
And
stage
it turns
blood
out there's
on
been
and
a live
shit.
studio audience the whole time.
Yeah. I hope they just destroy this fucking show. I hope the ending, the last episode is in a few days. It's on Sunday, and like, people are so deranged about their little soap opera and also this is like the last water cooler, like monoculture sort of thing that everyone has in common, it would be perfect for it just to fully melt everyone's brains out of their fucking ear with their like expectations.
That's why I've started my podcast, The Underculture, to give people something to bring everybody together. Big
Something in audio
destination
form.
podcast.
I'm
We
hoping
can
it.
scream about.
I'm hoping it just ends with the lead character. They just cut to black. Don't Stop Believing starts playing.
That could be good. Dude, best idea I saw online. I have no idea who said this, so don't get mad at me. But somebody was saying the last episode of Game of Thrones is just this same episode as the last episode of Evangelion, where it's just a dream one of the characters has that has nothing to do with the story, and you never find out. It's just a horny daydream Jon Snow's having for 90 minutes, and then end of show forever.
Yeah, that was the Dallas escape hatch.
Ha-ha!
It was just a dream.
James, what are you doing in town, man? Are you on tour or something right now?
No, I am doing some shows coming up here. I'm here to record my podcast in New York and to do 100,000 podcast appearances and Sirius XM appearances.
Much appreciated.
So thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I feel like I've just been doing the same podcast all week in New York and just taking breaks to sleep.
Grab a crucifix.
Well, the glue fumes coming out from the glue factory will help you sleep. So
I'm doing Trump versus Bernie. It's sold out, but we're doing a one-off Trump versus Bernie debate at the Creek in the Cave. To basically just to remember what the jokes are before we go back on the road and stuff.
This sounds good.
We're doing like we're getting the band back together. Me and Anthony Tamanik, Trump versus Bernie. So we're gonna figure out the new vibe because it's weird because Bernie has more of a chance this time, but also Trump is actually already president, so the whole thing of us warning the people that what he was doesn't work anymore. It's like, no, we've been here. It is. This is it.
Yeah.
So we have to figure out the new dynamic, and we're gonna do it in front of an audience.
I've been wondering what that's like because there was a great Rolling Stone piece about Tony in Rolling Stone, like right before Trump got elected, where he was sort of saying that, like, I hope I don't never have to do this again. And this,
no,
I remember
it's your job.
He thought he was gonna have a big dismount, and then get to walk away.
And that seems like
like a gingerbread man.
It must have been horrible, the realization that, like, oh my God, I have to be Trump for fucking ever now.
Yes, and I Tony's a good friend, and I talk to him a lot, and he's over it now, but a year into it, he was just like, it looked like nothing but a like I can't believe that I'm stuck with this now.
Yeah. The dynamics have changed. I remember I did in 2016 before the election went down. I did like a job interview. I went and talked to somebody at like Slate or something, and they were talking about setting up like a podcast network and stuff. And the entire premise of this whole thing is like, we're going to launch all this stuff next year after Hillary gets elected, because then everyone's going to stop talking about politics, and it's not going to be a thing. It's like a thing that only gets drummed up every 4 years. And now politics, like, people, for better or worse, politics is now like, well, everyone's talking about it, and it's kind of dumb and like theater and stuff. But like the dynamics of what you guys were doing with Trump and Bernie has sort of shifted from like, being this like warning to like, I mean, what does it feel like now? Like, what is
Well, what we thought at the time, we were doing Trump versus Bernie from 2015 into 2016 until Bernie conceded the nomination. We did like one more at JFL Montreal after that. But we started doing it before the primaries in 2015. And our whole premise was, first of all, how funny it is with these two large New Yorker personalities, and the two most ideologically opposed candidates that were running at the time, and they were both outsider candidates. Early on, they were both the underdog outsider, where it was supposed to be Jeb Bush versus Hillary Clinton,
right? And
so we thought when Tony started doing a Trump impression in New York, and I was in LA, and I was like, let's do a debate. Because I was doing Bernie, and so we did it, and it popped off on YouTube. So we were like, well, now we have to go on tour. And so we mostly got into it for comedic purposes rather than political purposes, because we were just like, well, there's nothing more fun than than these two old men yelling at each other about politics. And freely, honestly, it is a very political show, but we are a little bit dumber than what you would expect from like actual political satire.
Yeah.
I mean, we try to be smart and also dumb at the same time. I think that's probably the highest skill level.
Well, that's the other thing is like this is like entertainment. It's like the Game of Thrones thing where it's like stop putting all your stock in like entertainment in that it's going to reverse engineer society. Some of this shit is just it's funny. We're making it because it's like fun to make.
Well, we said some things. We said some things when we were on tour. It became clearer and clearer and clearer as we went on that Bernie wasn't going to get the nomination. In some ways deprived of it. In some ways it was fixed. In some ways it was just like that's the way it's set up. And I think that he would have won a general election against Trump, and that was one of the things that was so sad about it. And so then we had to shift because I was like, I don't want to what am I going to? We're still doing this. The guy that could have beat Trump is losing, and I never believed that Hillary could beat Trump. So I figured as soon as Bernie lost, that meant Trump was going to be in office. So I was then I had to me as an actor playing Bernie, I had to come up with a message at the end of the debates instead of like a real pitch for you should go out and register as a Democrat and elect Bernie Sanders. I tried to get people ready for what was going to happen. So I did this big speech where I was like, it's like the never-ending story. You think it can't get worse. The horse is in the mud. That's the middle class. It is sinking. It is not coming back. And then everybody's really sad. And then I'm like, and then I show up. Falcor, the luck dragon. And the whole point was I made it like from a magical sort of like storytelling hero's journey point of view, that Bernie was a character that was introduced to the millennial generation to inspire them to then later on go do the things that he had inspired them to do. And to me, that was like the best I could think of.
I like it.
And
if we stop believing in him, he just becomes transparent and goes away, and smart bullshit happens.
Yeah, and then we get angry at how the specifics of the story plays out, and we sign a petition.
I can't believe they made Bernie Sanders gay.
There was a point.
Well, they didn't do that. I've done
There was a point. I think this was in 2016, like when the primaries were kind of like ending, but they were actually talking about actually debating each other, right? Did that sort of affect your performance?
Yes. I was awakened at 4 a.m. with that news. There was like this last ditch thing where Bernie was trying to. They were trying to schedule a debate for Donald Trump, basically to try to provide, at least on television, a left argument, even if it had no chance to do anything at the ballot box. Just an ideological debate.
Yeah.
And then Trump didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But there was like a week there where it looked like it was going to happen.
Like a Zizek Peterson thing, but for Bernie and
yes,
Trump.
essentially. Yes. I'm looking here at my Canadian laptop, and I'm looking at some of the things that Slavoj Žižek believes in, and I'm just scrolling. I've got a lot of tabs open here during the debate. I've got a lot of tabs open. To me, this crisis is one of Firefox, and the late capitalism will have so many tabs that are opened and opened and opened. It will look like a success until the entire system crashes.
That debate was so weird because, Peterson had his little laptop out, and then fucking Zizek was sitting in like a lifeguard high chair with just like ruffled papers.
It is so that if I spill my applesauce, it does not ruin dinner at the adults' table.
Yeah, he's a little baby.
This is so long. It's 3 hours long.
Yeah.
I was so invested until I found out each of them has an opening remark of 30 minutes.
I'm curious. How many of you gathered around with your friends, made some popcorn, and were like, "Hey, who wants to watch the Zizek debate?"
So many of our listeners.
Yeah.
Who wants to watch the Zizek Pete debate?
There were like podcasters that were like live tweeting that they had like taken a road trip and bought tickets to go watch it live.
And it was in
shit.
Toronto?
I think
in
so.
Toronto, yeah. You could, and you had to pay $15 to live stream it. It went up on YouTube like right after, like the full thing, good quality.
Look at this old man spill applesauce.
Recommended videos. It's besides this is that my video saying that ideology is like a dump truck.
Yeah, I watched it when I had the flu. And even then, I was like, man, I gotta break this up with like something like less thick.
You didn't have the flu. You were just watching Slavoj Zizek.
I was very upset.
I should lobby to become the Mucinex mascot. In a true future, a communist socialist future, I should be a Mucinex, where the working class, he is unattractive and also unhealthy. However, instead of simply being a caricature of the working class stooge that you have to remove from your body and so forth and so on, it is that he has intellectual theories that he incompletely conveys to the public.
Hell yeah.
James,
Underculture, everyone.
I went and saw you at Caroline's once, and I remember you.
I did Zizek
You did
there.
Zizek? And
at
here's how you did
Caroline's on Broadway, which is a Manhattan, largely tourist crowd.
You said, does anyone know Zizek? And there was one guy who went, yeah! And you went, that's all I need! And then did it for like 10 minutes, and it fucking ruled.
Wow, I'm such an asshole.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
glad
called being a star.
That means that I must have liked the crowd.
Wonderful.
They should get the real Zizek to do Caroline's.
Oh, he would crush, dude. He'd sell so many nachos.
There is merch afterwards, which is I will sign some of my early academic papers.
Thank you to my opener, Tom Takar.
Do you think that, like,
When I have a successful moment in a debate, there is someone who feeds me a tiny fish.
he's like a whale? Do you think that that like doing stuff like Zizek like paints you into a too niche of a corner? Do you have like designs to do like fucking big stage stuff and like late night sets and shit like that? What is what's going on there?
I don't really. This is something I don't bring out at all the shows. I change what I do for the audience.
Yeah.
I have things that are like. I have things, if I'm at a club and I'm like, okay, what do these people know? What are these people? I try to look and be like, how many people have tucked in shirts? How many people are here who are my age, which is, I don't want people my age. Like, all right, if you're my age or older, I got to count you. And so I'm like, all right, so what am I've just calibrated to figure out what the crowd is. No, I do all kinds. I don't know, I'm bespoke for each,
Do you have an impression of a man being different from a woman? You do?
That's rough. That's hard to do. That's hard to do.
It's never been done.
I leave that to the people who've done the best job of deconstructing stand-up comedy, like Andy Kindler.
Third thing.
Ladies over here?
I'm playing the basement of a fast food restaurant in Boston tomorrow. How should I calibrate towards that audience?
Well, where is it? Do I know it?
It's called Mooyah.
It's not Johnny D's. That's I don't know if that's in Somerville.
I think it's quite literally a fast food restaurant. I thought it was like, it's like a
Is this a
hip.
punk rock show?
Yeah. Well,
DIY?
It's
It's for
fairly
cows.
DIY. Some weirdos from Reddit put it on, and I didn't trust them at first, but they made a pretty cool flyer. And it's a flyer of me as Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat ripping Beto
The most important thing you could do if you're doing a show full of weirdos from Reddit is you don't need to prioritize getting laughs. Tell them to get off Reddit.
Yeah, they're a very hateful crowd on Reddit. I think I just go there and they just pay to like beat me up or something, or just throw shit at me or something.
I don't go there anymore. I did an AMA on Reddit like 7 years ago or something when my album came out, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Thank you."
Yeah, yeah, fuck.
It's been great to be here. Thanks to Reddit. Thanks to 4chan, all the producers on the website, all my friends. The mods. Give it up for the mods.
At the live show. Guys, tip your fight starter. Tip your trolls.
Upvote your mods.
Reddit gold for the bartenders. They need it. They're working hard.
So, moving on a little bit in the news, something else pretty cool happened this week in that Ted Cruz said that we need Space Force to fight against space pirates.
Yes! I'm so glad we're back on
That-
Space Force.
Everyone is particularly on one this week. Gene Simmons is at the White House today talking about Israel and shit like that, and he's I guess he's promoting the war against Iran that seems to be in the works right now.
So, God damn it, Kiss is.
There's a lot of things in a row right there.
Yeah.
God damn it! All the old celebrities need to go away.
If you're gonna book,
Kiss
someone
wants
for a
us to
war,
go to war in Iran.
Yeah. Yeah, this
He's
is
gonna bring
like
his army.
celebrity deathmatch.
He has a
but
Kiss
like
army.
Yeah.
Fucking CNN.
What if the IDF had to dress like Kiss? That'd be cool.
It's just like, what can Gene Simmons do by himself to sell a war? Just like eat someone out on TV.
I don't believe that Donald. I mean, does Donald? He knows who they are. He's probably like, business, great, tremendous business. They're like, he doesn't listen to music. What is Trump? Does he just have Sinatra going 24/7?
He says he likes the Rolling Stones.
Donald
That's what he
Trump?
said. Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
What
What the fuck?
He just knows that's a band.
That's scarier than anything because when the missiles start flying, I'm gonna just imagine that it's dun 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 right.
Well, Trump's inauguration is one of the lamest concerts of all time because, like, everyone just, kind of signed off and said, I'm not going to take the money to do this, except for, like,
Except
a
for
few
Three
of
Doors
the
Down.
3 Doors Down, and then just,
Heroes.
like, weird
American heroes.
gospel music and shit, and, like, super far-right
Kid Rock
Christian
do it?
stuff. Yeah, I think Kid Rock did it.
Kid Rock interned there.
Kid Rock, don't give a fuck.
I think the thing about Trump is that he will only listen to a band that, like, he has to have a small catalog of music because he can only listen to someone who hasn't publicly slandered him because then they're fucking canceled to him.
Yeah.
So he's just listening to, like, weird fucking, like, instrumental jazz or something. Like, everyone is against him.
I have the largest collection of elevator music. Nobody plays elevator music anymore. It fell out of fashion in 1988. I got all of it. I got all of it from my properties, and we made very, very aggressive offers on all the other elevator music throughout Manhattan, Chicago, every major city in the world. I have those on 8-track tapes, and I play elevator music everywhere I go. So classy. I'm gonna hats off to Anthony Antamanik, whose Trump impression I just do.
Yeah. Well, that's how impressions work. Someone figures it out, and then everyone else.
And then everybody else does
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
We were working.
I know how that works.
All right.
It's nice. It's nice. No, it's nice when It's nice when friends can be friends and be like, "Hey, that's my friend. I got that from him," rather than some kind of large multinational conglomerate that's like, "This content is ours now."
Well, we were last week struggling with, like, what's the Biden impression going to be, and we didn't know, but I
Yeah.
think you kind of nailed it.
Well, we're gonna get it. What's the issue? What do you need to talk about? I got an ice cream here. I got an ice cream. I got a suit on it. There's a tie. I've got the wearing the tie. I'm a year younger than Bernie. I got the sleeves rolled up. What do you believe in? Because I'll give you half of it verbally, and then when I get in, you're not getting any of it.
We started our last fundraiser show we did for the DSA with a Biden roast, just because it's like a last-minute thing we threw together or whatever. It seemed easy.
Oh, you
We
threw
were
something
like,
together at the last minute?
Yeah, it was very unusual for us. But we were like, Andrews, we need you to complete this. You have to do a Biden impression. And he's like, okay, I can do it. Folks. It was just you saying folks.
I did the body language. It was a body language-based
Oh,
impression.
visually? It was
yeah.
a delight.
It's
Which
a body
doesn't work
language.
for the
You come
IQ.
up with some great support. I got consent here. Let me just run my hand right. You got democracy, Lady Liberty's there, and you just got to smell and be like, what is that? What is that in your hair? Sweet Columbia. What is that in your hair? It smells like jojoba oil. Is that what it is? Darn it. You are doing such a great job up here. You got some tension there in the back of your shoulders.
He does a lot of this.
Yeah.
He just kind of gestures with his hands out like he's praying
A
or something
toothy
at
smile, a smile that looks like a couple of bags of corn nuts. You got a big smile like that just says, hey, it's like a smile of a grandpa who's disinherited the entire town.
He kind of sounds like the voiceover in, like, a commercial. They're like, here at Grape Nuts, we harvest everything directly from fucking Connecticut or whatever. One of those like rustic, kind of like he's about to start the Big Lebowski kind of voices.
That's why there's 5 grams of fiber in every bite.
Yeah.
He is.
Thanks, Joe.
I was
You're a great
I was
nuts. We're not
watching
on our
an
phone.
interview with him, and he kind of reminds me of this sort of Game of Thrones, living your life through a show phenomenon he has. We were talking about, but his show is The Republicans, and he thinks one day season 2021 of The Republicans, they're going to have an epiphany. That was his words.
Oh.
That they're just going to come around once Trump gets out of there.
I'm an idiot. The whole point is that, look, the poll numbers look good because most people don't read the news. Most people check in when they're at the waiting room. When they're waiting room at the hospital, they see me when they're doing their laundry. They don't really follow the news. They know the name. They go Biden. And you know what? I'm going to get in, and that's it. I'm just going to get in, and it's going to be gridlock, and I'm going to die, but I'll be long dead, brain dead by that time.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't think that he actually believes this shit he's saying about Republicans having an epiphany. I think he's all very deliberate. My thing that I came up with a couple podcasts back is that I think he's a time warlock, and he's just trying to like cast amnesia on all of us to like not have moved past 2016.
That's
Well,
what
that's
the
an
hands are
interesting
doing.
theory you've got there, Jake. You know, there's forces, there's archons, if you will, that look out over the humans on this earth. That some of them are good and some of them are evil, from your point of view. And so they sent you, Bernie. The bird came and told everybody. The bird was there saying Earth itself wants Bernie. I'm sent by the other forces. I'm sent by the other forces. They realized that Trump's not enough, that if it was just Trump, Bernie would win. And so they send me to make sure that doesn't happen. I'm not here to win the election. I'm here to make sure Bernie doesn't win.
Yay. That's exactly why I brought that up.
That's what I and all the other candidates have in common. We're all running to make sure Bernie doesn't win.
Elizabeth Warren's been acting a fool lately. It's another thing that happened yesterday. Everyone was just fucking on one yesterday. Elizabeth Warren came out and sort of did 2 things in one day. The first thing is she said she wouldn't go on Fox News because she wouldn't promote like racist media, yada yada yada.
She's BDSing Fox News.
Yeah, even though she went on it like a couple like years ago or something. And then the other thing she did in the same day is that she came out and she said that her plan for the military is to make it green or something. Like she's gonna use green shit to make it efficient.
There's a real big untapped audience there, Liz. Environmentally conscious imperial militarists. Good. That's some great advice you got.
I love these tanks, but what if they were just weaponized war horses? How can we turn this around?
She came up with something that no one wants. No one is like somehow.
Well, who's the reply guy on that fucking tweet was Dan Crenshaw, which is the target audience for her tweet. He's not.
Who's Dan Crenshaw?
Dan Crenshaw's the one-eyed. He's the solid snake
he's a Gorka
motherfucker.
guy.
Yeah. He's the fucking
He's
Metal
Snake.
Gear Solid.
Well, I guess she's on to something from an environmentalist point of view. If you're unhinged enough, Senator Warren. Not that you are, but you probably just stumbled into this backwards, like the DNA test. But probably one of the very fast solutions to global warming is global thermonuclear war. That would really reduce the output of human beings and the effect we're having on. There would be a big spike in global warming, and then it would cool off pretty quickly.
Yeah.
We'd have a great ice age.
yeah.
It would counter the whole thing.
Yeah, and if you did it the right way, maybe you'd still have plants and octopuses and stuff to take over later.
I fucking love octopuses.
Maybe that's her end game. Maybe Elizabeth Warren is trying to bring on the apocalypse. Like
She's in the pocket of big octopus.
Late for us to save people and children. We are thinking about birds. We are thinking about the future evolution of mollusks.
we're thinking about an endless night.
Donald Trump, but imagine this election. Donald Trump is trying to end all life on Earth. I think we can stop the killing at human beings.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Fox News thing is like not a bad move. I don't fault her like politically, like she's trying to draw a contrast between her and Bernie. But like that really doesn't. I mean, I could see the argument. I mean, there's no like satisfactory argument for going on Fox News. There's not a correct answer there. But I think unless you are going on Tucker Carlson's show to agree with him, then otherwise it's kind of fair game. Just like try to do a good job.
Yeah. I mean, I like Elizabeth Warren a lot of the time. I think sometimes she has some bad political instincts. I think it's perfectly fine for her not to go on Fox News. I also think it's not you can't say it's not like a pure move of light and purity for Bernie to have gone on Fox News, but he did beat them on their own. He basically played an away game and beat the home team pretty badly.
Yeah.
He did a Fox News town hall and embarrassed the fuck out of him. So that's valid gameplay. Yeah, sure. Maybe you got your hands dirty. Maybe take a little criticism for it. Elizabeth Warren doesn't want to do it. That's another great. Fox News loses that too.
Yeah.
I don't care. I do. It does annoy me that there's so many people that are like, see, that's the way you do it. Not really. Either way.
That's what's annoying about it. And also, but I don't think that she did it for that reason, for the spin to be that. I mean, a lot of people were like, yeah, this is a good point against Bernie that she, Elizabeth Warren's better because she wouldn't do this or whatever. But, I think she's just bad at running for president. She's just, she's a bad, she's bad at the fucking shit that, Trump is good at. The theater stuff,
She could have swung Massachusetts for Bernie, and in fact, she did. That was, to me, was a bad move because the fact that she didn't endorse either one of them in 2016, that meant that she wanted to endorse Bernie, but got shamed and threatened behind the scenes, so she didn't.
Yeah.
Otherwise, she would have endorsed Hillary. So a non-endorsement is dumb in an important election like that.
Yeah, one of the weird counterfactual things I think about sometimes
She's
is
very good on banks, though.
She is, yeah. And I think she would have won in 20. If she had run,
And Warren
yeah,
would have
she
won.
would have
That's
whipped.
also bad instincts that she didn't run.
She didn't run, yeah. But we would have a fairly progressive president as far as those things go, presidents. But nobody would talking about socialism now if she had run. It would have been really interesting.
It would be like a Jimmy Carter situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Good job finding the one worse world than the one we live in.
Well,
Everything
it
is the
would still
same,
be
but we
slightly-
don't use buzzwords.
there is an accelerationist, Ozymandias thing to Trump where it's smashed the entire fucking system so hard that now we're talking about socialism in
Yeah.
America,
All we've got to do is find Rorschach and blow him up.
He's bad. He wears a mask.
He's a bad man. The mask changes. He's Antifa.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Rorschach is Antifa.
Yeah, Fox News hates, which is weird because Rorschach is kind of a right-wing fascist.
He's debatably far.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I've seen people get into that goddamn argument on the internet too. That's a quick way to get blocked.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, problematic fave. I love Rorschach. I know he's supposed to be a bad character, but he's so goddamn likable.
Isn't he supposed to be whatever you are?
Oh.
You know what I mean?
What?
Whatever you see in
Anders.
him, whatever you
Whoa.
believe.
He deals out justice with his fists.
Is that why I see dicks every time I look at his face? I did that for Halloween one time. I was Rorschach with just dicks. It was fucking dumb.
Oh my god!
It's so stupid.
How's this never come up before?
I'm an idiot. Yeah, I don't know. The other thing about the Fox News thing with Warren, though, is that, it does call into question, okay, so are the other media outlets you're going on super ethical? Because, as we all know, we did this fucking thing about Vice. There are imperialist underpinnings in a lot of these other things. And so I kind of think...
she's fully on board for all of those things.
I will be doing
Right.
an AMA with the Daily Stormer.
I guess that's true, yeah. She does want to start a fucking weird, solar-powered military, so she's probably fine.
I don't think it's out of the question to use beams. Why aren't we harnessing the power of the sun for our beams? All impressions are off the table for me today.
I was going to say, is it fun watching us
yeah.
try and fail to do impressions?
Normally, not good. Today, fuck me.
In my view, and when I say in my view, I mean that I'm going to angrily argue this point ad infinitum. In my view, it is not the quality of the impression, it is the intention and the fact that workers from multiple comedic disciplines are coming together to attempt a society where impressions are done, making fun and mocking bad things and elevating more important things. That, to me, is more important than whether it's accurate or funny.
Working people across America coming together to harass women.
The water cooler, sustainable, reusable water coolers.
From like a perspective, because the debate is sort of a theatrical thing.
What, Trump versus Bernie?
Well, no, I just
Or the real
actual
debates, yeah.
With that factor, do you think?
Lincoln and Douglas were cunts to each other.
But do you think Bernie has a leg up on any other candidate against Trump, or do you think it would
yes.
be more or less the same?
Okay, and I don't even like all these people, but I think debate-wise, and I'm not a perfect person. I'm not like a news. I'm not one of these people at the end of December that I'm like, here's my predictions and how they played out. I was right 75% of them. I don't.
Well, none of those people know what
I'm
they're
just
doing
guessing.
anyway.
There's an intelligent guess from someone who watches too much news. And I don't like all these people. I think as far as a personality for after the primary, if it's the nominee versus Trump and possibility of third and fourth party candidate, I think Kamala Harris is strong. I do not like her as a candidate now. I think she's strong personally on a debate stage versus Donald Trump. I think that Tulsi Gabbard is strong versus Donald Trump for similar reasons, emasculating on a world stage, and make him look like a fat, rich coward, basically. I don't think she has a chance to win. I'm glad she's running, but
do you have a Tulsi Gabbard?
I think who else has the best? But I don't know if there's anybody as good as Biden's gonna try to glide through and just be like, hey, there it is. You got bad grandpa, good grandpa, and that's gonna be the game. And you're gonna be asked not to know too much news. Mm-hmm. You're going to be asked not, and it very well might not work again. It could, because it's not. He's not basically like throwing daggers at the American people like Hillary Clinton was. Like, shut the fuck up. Whatever you want, you're not getting. We're going to make it worse, and you have to vote for me. Like, he's not going to do that. He still might lose, because I don't know if Trump's going to have a successful Venezuela war that he's rolling into the election with, or a really quote-unquote good economy or whatever. So Biden, he's going to try to play like an advertiser's campaign and be like, there, it's the brand you know and love. That bullshit.
Grape nuts.
Bernie, I think, is the strongest. Yes, grape nuts. Bernie, I can't think of anyone stronger. I can't think of anyone more likely than Bernie who will say, Mr. President, with all due respect, shut up. And that is what needs to be said.
Yeah.
That is what needs to be said. I remember listening to the debates on the radio when Hillary Clinton got clobbered by Donald Trump in one of the debates, and he was being mean to her, and she was like smiling and pretending. And do not take the high road in a situation like that. You grab his balls.
Yeah.
You bite him. You be as mean as possible.
Yeah.
So he's thinking of mean nicknames for you while you're doing it.
And I'm agitating for that, thinking already that obviously an old senator like Bernie's not going to be that mean. But someone on the debate stage should tell Donald Trump to shut up.
Yeah. Well,
and that would get huge headlines, and your poll numbers would go only up.
Well, that's the interesting thing, because Bernie never ever gets personal, never gets nasty with his fellow Democratic.
If he was in a debate with Donald Trump, I bet he would.
Yeah, that'd be a thing to see.
I bet he would. I think he was unusually polite with Hillary Clinton, and I think he believes. I know people disagree with this. I see why he does it, but I think he believes in like minimizing attacks from the left on the left. Mm-hmm. In favor of attacking the right and the 1% and corporate interests and stuff. And I see why he does that. It's been a while since he ran against a Republican. He did when he first ran for Congress. He ran and beat a Republican in Vermont. But
and he does a practice now every 6 years for the Republican who gets 10% in Vermont.
Look, we got our guy. We know who he is. He's new in the race. 3 words. Mayor Bill Diblasio. He's taking the Democratic nomination. He's transforming our trains purely into sheet metal, and we're going to use them to build large magnetic rats around America and drop them in empty towns.
My message, and the reason I'm running for president is you don't need a functioning subway between Brooklyn and Manhattan. We're gonna have toboggans. We're gonna
slide. We're gonna have downhill sliding, and we're gonna solve America's problems just like we solved the L train.
2 mayors now. That's fucking weird.
What? I can't. I don't need to do all the impressions. I'm casting other people to do these. Some of them are doing them on my show, and we're looking at like live giant debate shows that we're going to try to do this summer and in the fall and stuff. But it's like, that's a lot of actors.
Oh, they're making your job harder because they keep adding people.
That's why I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to pull it off just to show that it can be done.
Yeah.
And I want to have people. I want to have people that are just like, you know, the thing where it's like, I'm Mike Gravel. I'm running. I'm not intending to win. I'm just trying to help the other good guy on the stage. Like, you have to run for president just to help someone run for president? I want to be like, James Adomian, am running for president. I don't think that I'm going to get to be elected president. And let's be clear, I don't intend to make it to the debate stage like Mike Gravel to help someone like Bernie Sanders win the nomination and the presidency. I'm running for president to help Mike Gravel get to the debate stage to help Bernie Sanders be elected president.
Yeah.
So donate, if you could even donate 50 cents, it would help make a gesture that won't wait. And I don't think it will. I won't get to the debate stage, but I think it'll help propel Mike Gravel a little further.
If you donate 50 cents to me, I will be able to donate 25 cents of that to Mike Ravel, who will then debate someone. I don't know. Previous guest of the podcast, by the way, Mike Ravel.
Shout out,
Mike
Gravel
Ravel's been
Gang.
on?
Yeah, it was,
Gravel
it was a
Gang.
weird one.
Did he call in?
Yeah.
Skyped in, yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah.
I love him.
He
I love
went
him.
off.
I'm glad he's running.
Yeah. I'm everything they're doing over there is I'm for it. I'm glad they're fucking shit up.
Yeah, I'm for it. I think he's running a great campaign. I mean, if you're essentially you're not trying to win the football game, you're like a mascot. Or great, you're doing the right thing.
The Twitter thing is so fucking surreal. I was tweeting the other day. I was talking about Barry and how much I like the show Barry because it's like my take on it is that it's a better show about the personal lives of like comedians than any of those fucking autobiographical like Louis Marin Master of None shows really were because it's like approaching it through comedy and it's like Saturday yada yada. Anyway, I was just tweeting about this. All of a sudden, Mike Gravel just starts tweeting at me about Barry, and I was like, "Are you gonna bring this up in the debates?" And he just started going off and doing like a joke. It's obviously the teens that run his Twitter account, but it's for anyone watching that who didn't know that a bunch of teens are running his Twitter account.
I love that Mike Gravel is like a fast food restaurant where his Twitter account is just run by smartasses.
Yeah, his Twitter account was just going off about Aziz Ansari. This is someone running for president.
For an experienced politician, Barry is the only option to get things done on the left. You look at his experience as a hitman, as an actor, as a performer. He's the only one bringing the show to a close.
I'm running for president just to make sure that the Game of Thrones season has to be refilled.
Dude, that would fucking win. Everyone's so mad about this dumb show.
Valar Morghulis.
James, why don't you tell us a little bit about your new podcast, and we will round this thing out.
Well, it's The Underculture with James Adomian. It's on the Forever Dog Podcast Network. I have a lot of guests. I'm paying my guests from day one. People have said, it has been said that that's something that podcasts don't do. I know you guys do. And I know Chapo Trap House pays their guests. And I know The Dollop pays their guests. So I'm entering stage, paying my guests from the very beginning. And I think eventually SAG-AFTRA is going to find out what podcasts are.
Yeah.
Well, you know, there's probably a sliding scale. But I think eventually it'll be understood that it's labor and that it's paid work and it should be paid with money and not exposure. I remember I saw Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez tweet the other day or a couple weeks ago where she was like, unionize your workplace. If it doesn't work, ask for a raise. If that doesn't work, go on strike and keep doing it. And I was like, yeah. Oh, fuck. I do comedy. Do you mean us too? Yeah. And I think she does. So I'm going to be paying my guests.
We're having a lot of fun so far. We've been recording a lot of extra episodes. We have 2 out now.
I heard the first one was really good.
It's good. Folks.
Thank you. That's Alyssa Limperis playing Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and I'm interviewing her as Chris Matthews.
Yeah.
What's it, how does it go? You can represent the Bronx? What's the Bronx? It's up there. So you trade him, Trek.
And so, like, there's a lot of characters and some short form things and some longer form interviews, and then I have so people don't think that they're listening to someone who's lost their mind. There's a person behind it. So I do the bumpers. I do the ins and outros. I do the weather on the 5s and the 10s, traffic on the 7s and 12s. And it's been fun so far. We'll see how it goes.
Cool.
But you can listen at theunderculture.com or on all the podcast platforms, and there's a Patreon for anybody interested in like early and extra stuff, and also if you're interested in helping us pay the guests that you hear.
Well,
but follow it. I think you'll laugh. Some of it makes me laugh too, and I'm a tough laugh these days.
Well, I think it's been a long time coming because like so many people know who you are because of your appearances on other things that like it was kind of hanging in the air. When the fuck is James Adomian gonna make a podcast?
I made the mistake of attempting for most of my career so far to make television shows, and it was basically almost like I almost got a court order that was like, James, you're not allowed to make TV shows. It's not one further step of being locked out. I would have gotten a piece of paper that said you are legally prohibited.
Was there a petition, a GoFundMe? trying to get you to
change.org. Get James to shut the hell up.
No.
Make James Adomian redo the Game of Thrones episode by himself.
So I figure they can't. I'm only allowed to be a guest star on television, which is fun when you can get it. It's fun work. Don't get me wrong. And I do a lot of cartoons and shit. I do cartoon voices all day long. But I want something for my stuff, and I want it to be in one place because I have all these fans from different places, so I'm just trying to, unite the kingdoms.
Yeah, there you go. Hope nobody burns them to the ground.
No,
with a
I
fiery
plan
dragon.
on. But once I get all my fans finally in the same place for the climactic battle, I'm gonna burn them all down.
That's when you go crazy because you're a Targaryen.
Yeah, and I'm not a good guy. You shouldn't have been thinking that you deserved to have a good guy to empathize with.
Yeah, he's an army of unsullied people.
Oh, you thought I was your gay Daenerys? Did I say it right?
No one knows how to pronounce that shit.
Did you think I was your gay princess from the desert that was going to save King's Landing? Sorry, I'm dragoning your ass as soon as possible.
The guys on Game of Thrones, when you finish an episode, they just show up and explain the episode, and it's already a dumb show, so it's like super
Wonderful.
heavy-handed. They're like, this was a really big moment for Dany. She got to ride a dragon. They mispronounce their own characters' names, and it's like they made the show. They keep saying Cersei.
The dragon represents it's like a really large lizard, and you ride it.
Yeah.
It has fire inside.
Our dragon character was based on a lot of mythological stories that featured these flying dragon characters. Beowulf is something I've heard about.
You see a chicken that has wings. You're wondering, what if it was bigger?
Well, stick around after the podcast. I'll be doing that at the end of all these podcasts now. This was a really big day for Anders. He got to do an impression. I don't know. Okay, we should probably get some plugs in and get the fuck out of here, everybody. You guys got anything?
Our show Paid Protest will be next Friday, June 24th.
May 24th.
Is that a live show?
May 24th.
Yeah.
And then if you're in Philadelphia, June 17th, capitalism is making us autistic. That is my belief. And I'm doing an hour of
Sounds
comedy.
like an autistic belief.
Very much is.
You should take that to Reddit.
You can AMA me after that show, Dummy, which will be June 17th in Philadelphia. Tattooed Mom, 7 p.m.
Oh, boy. That made me happy. Follow me on Twitter at Patak Jokes. Come every Sunday. I got a freaking show at Cherry Tree by Barclays. It's at 7. It's called Bad News. It's a comedy show. I dress up. I tell you the news. We do stand-up comedy. And that's all you need to know.
That's the kind of voice I love. And a guy who has a show next to the Barclays Center.
He's not always this raspy.
I'm James Adomian. You can unfollow me at Jadomian, and you can start following at The Underculture or Underculture Pod on Instagram.
Capitalism is the real vaccine that's making us autistic.
The facts.
I was trying to piece those two things together for the entire last 30 seconds. I'm an idiot. I'm Jake Flores. I'm Feral Jokes on the internet. You know me. People are all mad at me online a lot. You'll see me starting fights. Listen to the Patreon. Sign up for our Patreon if you'd like to hear the other half of the show, basically. We do 2 episodes a week. One of them's back there for our little Patreon piggies.
Jake's Twitter's like World Star, but with words.
Yeah. Also, if you're in Boston, I'm playing the basement of a fucking fast food restaurant. It's called Mooyah. It's my pinned tweet, and it'll be on my website and all this shit. Come on out. I have no idea how this is going to go, but it sounds fun.
Baked beans.
But yeah, fucking listen to the Underculture. Listen to James's stuff. We're all big fans here at the podcast. Can't endorse enough.
Thank you. And again, if you guys haven't seen it out there in, I don't know where you are, microphone land.
We're in
you've
microphone.
gotta watch their Means TV Venezuela Vice news video if you haven't. It's really, really good. And what people should be doing.
Just issue a small correction here. Watch the video that was made by 2 people that look exactly like me and Anders. That aren't
Branch
us.
and Connor.
Branch Rockefeller and Connor Sanchez. All right.
We're generous enough to allow them to.
Yeah.
I licensed my likeness off to Connor Sanchez. I'm an idiot. It's finished.